There's quiet, then there's quiet. Quietly night fell on the sea. There's silent, then there's silent. Silently love fell on the sea. Holy, oh so holy, holiness engulfed this eve. There's peaceful, oh there's peaceful, peacefulness surrounded this eve. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Bless this eve. Peace comes easy. Peace comes easy. Peace comes easy on this eve.
I'm going to light the candle of hope from last week. And this week it's all about peace. I love this. The commentator who we're doing Advent with said, hope is something we choose, and peace is something we surrender to.
I like that.
I'd really like that. So I wanted to put that out there today. It's cold. Happy Monday. Sipping on some warm apple cider, the best.
Listen to you. Like a Martha Stewart. You gonna tell them how you make it?
Take it out of the fridge, put it in the cup, put it in the microwave. That's it.
So it's good to be with you again.
Mm-hmm.
It is Monday, and we are the Manns, like it or not.
Yes.
And we chose to be here. And if you checked in or you're hanging out with us at any time in the next week, you also chose that. And I'm sure that that puts a smile on God's face because it means you wanted to spend some time with God and His Word. And hopefully that's exactly what the Spirit allows you to do through our ramblings and wanderings through each week. So Susan said this is week 2 of Advent, and the focus is on peace. As I said last week, if you don't subscribe to the idea of Advent and where that word came from and all, it's not important. It's not important at all.
Mm-mm.
What's important is that you take the time during the season, these 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, and focus in.
Do something,
enjoy the anticipation
Mm-hmm.
of what we're getting ready for,
Yes.
and hopefully grasp some of these thematic words to as you go through the week. And we want to focus on the idea of peace, inner peace this week, outer peace in the world this week. So before we jump into that, we've been doing 2 truths and a lie lately.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I think it was on me.
It was on you.
I forget what the lie was.
One was about the kitchen
I get
set.
what the truths were.
One was about playing for the NFL.
I once got
something.
I once got toy dishes for Christmas.
Yeah.
I did. It was whether I played one season, 1 year of college basketball, and the first one was
About playing out something.
hi Arlene.
It was about playing on a basketball, something with basketball.
Are you listening to me? I just said 1 year of playing basketball.
Oh, then what was
You're
it?
not
Oh,
even listening to me.
sorry,
What's in your
God.
cider? You got something.
Nothing. Sugar, I guess.
Anyhow,
Apples.
anyhow, oh, it was that I had played with the singer that had a gold record, and yeah, that did happen. Billy Harner. I traveled with
Yeah.
Billy Harner toward the end of his career. Well, that was one of the first gigs I had, and he was still turning away Sally saying something and some other song. Um, and yes, when I was a real young guy, I asked for Christmas for dishes. I was hanging out with my mom a little too
His mom
much.
was the perfect homemaker.
She was the perfect foil for
Professional.
that.
Yeah.
And then I should have played college basketball, but I was just overwhelmed with music, and I
Yeah.
kind of gave up everything in my life between that and worrying about Vietnam. Basketball lost its.
Hmm.
It would have done me good to continue on with that. But today, it's not about me today. Today, it's about Susan. Two truths and a lie. Two of these statements are true. One of them
Mm.
is a lie. Susan used to run 2 miles a day. Susan is an excellent bartender
Was.
and or
I was an excellent. I,
okay, so you know that that's true
no.
now because she just
I was. It's not true or false. Never mind. But I'm just rewording
one
the
of these
word.
two things is a lie.
It's cold. My brain is frozen.
There's definitely something in her cider. One of these two things is a lie. Susan used to run 2 miles a day, and or Susan's favorite color is black. We're not going to say nothing. We're going to let that go because you've already had too much fun with that. Next time, I'm having some cider with her.
There's nothing in my cider.
Arlene remembers my dishes.
Does she?
You remember my dishes, huh?
I'm not surprised.
Um,
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Arlene was my babysitter for a time.
That's really
One of these weeks, I'm going to get a chance to share. One of these I'm working on. I mentioned just before on Thursdays. I'm working on being able to have guests come up, like pop up in the corner and speak. And when I can do that, um, I will. I'm going to have Arlene come up with me, and we can discuss her love for uh, my mom's butter cookies when she sat for me one time.
Oh gosh.
Anyhow, we're going to keep moving on here. Keep moving on. I see Arlene's put her 2 cents in. She thinks the lie is runs 2 miles a day. We're going to hold off as usual until about 48 hours, and then I will post on this comment stream or
Mm-hmm.
all the comment streams because I don't know where these are all coming from. But so this week, just a couple things. 3 little things cropped up for me this week. And the first one was we experienced Giving Tuesday this past week, and with everything that was going on this week, I missed I missed Giving Tuesday as a guy that has merch, and for me, Giving Tuesday was always an opportunity for me to give out free merch, and I just missed it this year. I missed it. You know how much I love Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. I love giving stuff away. My kids will tell you all through my life, I gave gifts uh, to them on my birthday, and I still do from time to time. Susan likes that.
I love that.
She loves that.
I love when his birthday comes around.
But moving on, the second thing this week was I started reading a book called Chasing the Sage. And Sage is a wise, learned man. Um, and as I got into the book, I was having trouble relating to this person. It's written first person about a man's life and his quest, his search for the sage, his chasing of the sage God. And I had trouble relating to it because his life and his upbringing was so much more difficult than mine. I was busy getting dishes and and having butter cookies. I don't mean to make.
That's
I
funny.
shouldn't make light of it. We often, I think, have difficulty appreciating what other people have gone through because our life experiences are so different. And that works both ways. If you've had a really tough upbringing and had some traumatic things in your past, sometimes I think it can be difficult to truly understand someone who's had a more blessed life, more blessed upbringing.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that we're not all blessed all the time. It's just sometimes our environments and the way God is molding us, clay as we are, um, can be kind of funky at times. I went to James for this because I love this first chapter, James, verse 2-4, where he writes, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and that steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." I don't know, James. That's a tough one. Um, that's a tough one, depending what your trials are. Everybody's trials are different. But I brought that to mind this week, and as I continue to read that book, I need to sit back and really put myself in his shoes, in his life, to fully appreciate what it is, um, where he's writing from. Put it that way. And lastly, for me this week, was something I called the soup aisle. And we were shopping on Thursday, and there weren't a whole lot of people in the store, but we got all jammed up on the soup aisle. and and I made this comment that we're all like congregating here with the soup because it's so cold out, and it is colder up here than it normally
Yeah,
is.
we're
It feels
freezing.
5, maybe 10 degrees colder for this time of year. It's not even winter here yet, and we're down in the teens, and it's just too cold.
It's
And
ridiculous.
when we came north, I joked. I went to the dentist this morning for had my teeth cleaned, and I walked in, and they said, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm cold." I said, "We came north a couple days before Thanksgiving, and as soon as we hit Virginia, I was cold, and I've been cold ever since." So um, the soup aisle. I made this comment, and a woman to my left said, "It's all I can afford," and it took me back. Again, our different environments, the haves and the have-nots. I don't think twice about getting soup. I don't think twice about the price of the soup. I'll complain. I will complain about the price of the soup, but I don't have to think twice whether I can afford it or not. And I think it goes right back to tying in with chasing the sage. And um, we're missing our purpose when we're not truly taking into consideration the lives that are surrounding us and what they're going through. What this season, we're all going through Advent together. We're all going through the season of anticipation together. We're all focused on hope this last week and peace this week. Yet all of our lifestyles, all of our situations are different. um, I think underneath it all, we have so much, the trials, we have so much in common with the trials we're going through.
Everybody has a
If
story.
we really got underneath them. And I just think it's I don't want to make light. I don't want to just say everybody has a story and walk away. I want to say everybody has a story, and I need to know more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody
I
has a
need
story. I'd
I,
love to know
I
people's
need to
stories.
know more. So
I love it.
um, moving on, some thoughts and questions from this week 2. And we have been heavily into Mark, reading a chapter a day in Mark during the week, and then on the weekends having a separate reading on Sunday. We're using a platform called Through the Word, which is available online. Doesn't cost anything. Um, we use it off and on. It's a little lighter uh, Bible study than what we do what we were doing and what we will probably be doing in January. But for now, we like it. It's been good to us.
I
This is,
like
I
the
think,
weekends where the weekends it's like each gospel story of the Christmas story, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So it's Mark all the way through, but then on the weekends, on the Sundays, we do like last week
Luke.
we had Luke, and then one before that we had Mark's Christmas story, right? I kind of really love
No,
that.
Matthew.
Matthew,
I think it
yeah,
was Matthew the
Matthew.
first week. Matthew, and we're in Mark all the time, and
And then
then
in
Luke.
Mark we're just doing the whole Jesus life, which is kind of
As I went through, our Sunday reading, which was from Matthew, the first chapter of Matthew, a couple things jumped out as they normally do for me. If I'm in the right frame of mind, um, and I'm not always, and if I want to be, truthful, and I want to be um, honest with you, today I came back from the dentist. I rushed through my breakfast to go out shopping, and I got like nothing out of my devotions. And it's not that Mark 5 is not rich, it's that I didn't allow myself a space
the
where I could.
peace, maybe.
I didn't allow myself to space. I normally get up. I'm the first one up. I'm sitting out in this big room by myself with very little light, and I've got my head buried in scripture, and I may be listening to a meditation, and I'm just things are jumping out like they never jumped out before. But today was nothing, and I really was disappointed. That may be something I need to do before the Eagles play tonight.
Yeah. Right.
Anyhow, there was a. Let me get the quote. At the beginning of Matthew, he puts out the genealogy of Jesus, and during the course of the genealogy, he uses the number 14 comes up. And so it made me want to do a little deep dive into the number 14 and the Bible. I'm a big proponent of 7 being the perfect number, this number of completion. Um, and my girls will tell you it's kind of a compulsive thing with me now that anytime I have do anything that has a number, it has to be a perfect number of 7, 14, 21, 28, that thing, 35, 49. Okay. I'm really kind of nuts about it. And in the studio, I do the same thing. If I'm moving a fader, I won't put it on 15 or 13. I'll put it on 14. When I'm editing artwork, if I'm in Photoshop, it'll be divisible. It'll be 63, no, maybe 84, 91, no, bring it back, 98, because it's always divisible by 7. So it's made sense that this number would jump out for me. And as I got into it, I found out that the number 14 is symbolic, and it's tied closely to deliverance, salvation, and God's perfect timing. And these numbers aren't magical. That's not what this is about, but they often have thematic significance. The Bible's full of things that are like this. And 14 is one of those numbers that consistently points to God bringing his people out of bondage or into freedom. So the most significant one is probably Passover. The number 14 in Passover. It's the moment that God delivered Israel from Egypt, right? Passover happened on the 14th day of the first month of the Jewish calendar. And in Exodus 12, 5, 6 is where we get this from. Moses wrote, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male a year old. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of this month. And that's when the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall sacrifice their lambs at twilight. So this number is, as I said, is completion, perfection, fullness. And 14 is obviously double, 7 plus 7 or 2 times 7. So it amplifies the meaning, whether it's a double portion of completion, God's perfect timing multiplied, if you will. For example, okay, Jacob in the Old Testament, Jacob served 2 sets of 7 years to receive Rachel, and that's from Genesis 29. A story of love gained through endurance. Kind of what I had to go through with Susan. I wonder if it's 14 years.
Wow, we should
check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Israel had
divine.
14 judges before the monarchy, a full era completed. So in the beginning, Matthew, if you have your Bible, and in Matthew 1, 17, Matthew intentionally arranges his genealogy into 3 sets of 14 generations.
God's a number guy.
It kind of signifies that Jesus is the ultimate, right? The ultimate deliverer. And God's plans always unfold in perfect deliver, the way he wants it to be, right? It has to be the way he wants it to be. Let me slide this up here. I don't want to miss people. So Matthew goes back and he gets like the temple records to put this list together. And he's putting this list together because he wants to prove that Jesus is in direct line with David and with Abraham, because all Jews were descendants of Abraham, who was promised that the Savior would come from his lineage. Yes. That covenant is, they want to prove that, okay, it comes that way. And then 1,000 years later, David he receives a promise that from his tribe, from Judah, would come the king whose reign would never end. So that's why we have this genealogy in the beginning. Sometimes it seems boring to just read who begot, who begot, who begot, who begot. But there's reasoning. There's purpose in God's word, and sometimes we have to dig a little bit to find out what it might be.
It's fact.
And lastly, as I was reading through it, a question in my mind was, I have a song called Emmanuel that I was rehearsing this past week for this past Saturday night's event up in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And when I read that Old Testament reading from Isaiah this week, it was with an I. And I started to question, why is it sometimes an I and why is it sometimes an E? I've seen churches, some Emmanuel churches have an I, some Emmanuel churches have an E. And it really came down to, it was not a theological thing. It really came down to a translation thing. The Old Testament is Hebrew based, whereas the New Testament is Greek based. And that's really all it comes down to. If you read the name Emmanuel in the Old Testament, more than likely it's going to be with an I. And if you read it in the New Testament, as I did in Matthew, it probably will show up as an E. It's not an exact science, right? The King James Version, the English Standard Version, and the NIV kind of fall in line with that thinking. So the existence of the two is because of the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament written in Greek. That's simple. It wasn't a deep thing. It was a pretty simple thing to get a handle on. Did you have something with? I don't want to rush through. If you have something that I'm yapping away here.
No.
Nothing
I'm
so
afraid
far?
to say anything with my words today with my apple cider, right? No, I really don't have anything.
That's your first class, right?
Yeah, it's my first and only class for the day. No, I don't have much to say. I mean, we're reading the same thing. We had pretty much the same week. I've just been exhausted from running around with the girls, right?
I don't know. You were sick. I know that. I was so happy when
running around
when she got sick.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, what we're watching?
Yeah, what we're watching
this week, we watched a mini series. I think it was 8 um, episodes of a story called Sharp Objects,
Mm.
and it's an HBO show. Um, if you're into stars and who's in things, Amy Adams, Patricia Clark, and Eliza Scanlon were the three main characters or artists um, that
Very good series.
that were acting in this, and it was a little bit. I first of all, do you, I can most of these things that we bother bringing up, or I guess we're recommending them in one way or another. This is not a religious show. In fact, when I get after I explain some of this, I think you can see that it's really what was missing. Uh,
Exactly.
but it's what they call a psychological thriller. It's set in a small Missouri town, and there's all this trauma, bad memories, family dysfunction is really the big deal. The two main characters are Camille and her mother Adora. And Camille is she's in Kansas City at this point. She's a news reporter. She gets sent to this old town. What was that town called? Wind Gap.
Mm.
She gets sent to this um, to the town of Wind Gap, which just because there's a couple murders now 6 months apart, and they're wondering whether they have some kind of serial killer going on there. So she gets sent down there, and her editor knows that that's where she grew up. So that's why he wants to send her down. He thinks maybe that'll be easier for her to get the story or the inside scoop on this thing.
She really doesn't want to go.
And she really doesn't. Yeah, she does not
No.
want to go. And we find out later on that she's got a lot of damage. And as I sat with Susan and Jesus and watched this, um, there's when there's no grace, right? Wounds and things just kind of fester and get worse. And I think healing, as we know it, needs true light, needs God's true light
Needs
and
to get
love.
out, yes.
And these are things that this young woman never received as a child, and we don't know much about that. And I don't want to be a spoiler here, but her mother, Adora, is man, she's she's a piece of work.
Yes, she is.
And basically, it's kind of like generational sin, I guess, is what you would call it. It's kind of like not destiny, but somebody has to break this cycle. And we find Camille. That's what Camille is doing while she's there, while she's investigating these murders. She's trying to break this cycle. And the town's just as bad. The town has has all this stuff that's concealed and needs to be brought to light. But ultimately, it was a good show. It was exciting to go through. But if you watch it with Jesus, then you see the whole thing on a different level,
Different
right?
lenses.
There's this absence of redemption in this thing, and the whole world. Wind Gap has no redeemer. There is no redeemer in this town. I can't. There's so many shows that I watch or that we watch that it can go eight. It can be 8 episodes, or it could be a 2-hour movie where these people never go to church. If there was ever a movie about my life, it would have to include church or faith on some level. So I think it's really interesting sometimes to look at the characters, see what they're going through, and then relate through your own walk, your own thing. Just man, it would be completely different if they had this in their life. We just mentioned that with the love and death the other week.
Yeah.
Same type of thing, right? But this thing here, I wrote these down. The characters in this show, they try to save themselves through control, through pleasure, through pain, through denial, through substances, and through perfection. But none of it's enough. None of it's big enough, and the result is despair. It's not surprising. So as we try to wrap up a little bit, now we are definitely focused on the word peace and what it means to us, how we can keep it alive every day in our walk. We encourage you to do the same.
Surrender to
Um,
it.
People that don't have peace, I wrote this down this week. It's difficult to watch people who don't have peace. There's difficult to watch people who are destroying their life. And they don't, most of the time, they don't even feel like they need saving or any help. They're consumed by this world and the trappings that inhabit it. They're lost. They're lost. And we struggle to figure out how to share what Jesus has to offer. Because if you have Jesus in your life, you have a peace that's beyond understanding. Things just sometimes, I don't know why I should feel so good. I wrote a song 20 years ago. It don't seem right. It don't seem right that I should feel this good. But they need saving. They need saving from their sins. They need saving from themselves. And Colossians 3:15 it's wonderful. It reads, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace, and be thankful." That's my verse this week. That's the one I'm trying to remember each week. That's the one I'm trying to share as much as I can. I want to live that this week. If you, if anything today, if anything in here strikes a chord, if anything, if you're not a believer and or you're struggling with it, it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't seem real, or you don't know how to embrace it, man, we'd love to talk to you. And I know that there are some good Bible-based churches out there that would love to have you come into the fold and be helped in your journey. Before we sign off here, 2 truths and a lie. Susan used to run 2 miles a day. Is that true or false? Susan is an excellent bartender. Is that true or false? Susan's favorite color is black. In the comments below, please put down what you think is the lie. And once we get enough people, give everybody a chance to listen in and write their choices down. Last week, people seemed to be very shy about it. There were a lot of people that felt like, nah, I'm not going to put in it.
Yeah, I don't care about that kind
It
of
could have been that
stuff.
line about me having dishes. That could have been the
Oh my
one.
gosh.
I don't know. As always, we want to encourage you to journal. And
Yeah.
I think through this season, hey Sean, glad to see you participating. What a brave soul! He's putting in his vote there. That's the idea. That's the idea. As we get ready to sign off here, let me leave you with this blessing I've been using every week here through this season. May your hands this day learn the grace of holding. May your ears this day receive the courage of listening. May your eyes this day awaken to wonder. May your feet this day walk the way. And may your whole being this day, every breath, every bone, every bright imagination, remember what you were made for, to love and to be loved. Go in grace that goes before you. Walk in the love that walks with you. And rest in the mercy that rests upon you. Amen, friends.
Happy
And
Monday. Enjoy your evening.
pray on.
Go Eagles.